Once more, I don't understand why you're so preoccupied with getting upset with me when there are more pressing problems to attend to. What I have to say about the night that Kirk and Yandy believed would never happen will astound you. We've probably spoken on the phone 10 times in the 10 to 15 years that we've known each other, if you look at our call logs. Rasheeda will drag them, you'll think. What were they hiding? Is the question now. Rasheeda, the very lady they have attempted to silence, is willing to risk everything to reveal their darkest secret, the drama you believed you knew. But what could possibly be so significant and scandalous? It is insignificant in comparison to what is going to occur. Folks, this is the real deal, not just another meaningless debate. We are discussing betrayal, deception, and a night that will shake our. If you believed that reality TV drama could not be much more ridiculous, you are mistaken. Behind-the-scenes secrets, treachery, and an unpredictable night are the only ways to produce this kind of stunning disclosure. Hold on tight, because what we're going to explore will drive you to reevaluate all of your preconceived notions. She's changing the narrative after far too long of repressing preconceived ideas about these reality TV stars. You won't see this coming, I assure you, just as Kara and Yandy didn't. Regarding Yandy Kirk and Yandy, which Rasheeda was obviously anticipating. Set the scene. Yandy and Dean Kirk have been involved in numerous scandals, many of which we have witnessed on screen. However, you may be surprised to learn that their drama has a deeper dimension that has been kept hidden from the public, a dark secret that has been meticulously guarded up until this point. The erratic force Rasheeda has finally had enough and are you prepared to tell the truth? Furthermore, it's a truth that will alter your perception of these two, not just any truth. However, since this is not a recent development, let's take a brief look back before we do that. For reasons we don't entirely understand, this is a whole new level of betrayal that goes deeper than any on-screen drama. Yes, Kirk and Yandy have had their share of public run-ins when they were caught lying and occasionally even in highly questionable situations. This night's case was so incendiary that it almost appeared destined to be locked up and out of the public eye. The whole narrative of Yandy and Kirk will be altered by Rasheeda's disclosures. Let's now discuss why Rasheeda, who has a complex background with both of them, thought that the time was perfect to make the revelation. Rasheeda made the decision to reveal the truth in the midst of everything. Did she simply feel that it was time to speak up, or had she been preparing for this moment for months? And, more crucially, the reason behind her choice of secret. Those familiar with the matter say Rasheeda had been holding this information for some time and knew full well that Kirk and Yandy had been concealing the affair for a long period. However, why now? It seems that the last straw that broke the camel's back was a recent argument. Sources claim that Rasheeda saw something during a recent event, a private get-together between Kirk and Yandy, that at first glance seemed benign, but, as they say, there's generally more going on than meets the eye when two people act a little too close. Although Rasheeda was aware of this, it didn't end there. Rather, she acted and began the night that would change everything. It was obvious that something was happening because of the tension in the air. Rasheeda, being the astute woman she is, saw what she was witnessing and understood that there was more going on behind closed doors than mere banter. Their flawless images were ones they had worked so hard to make, and what they believed to be a secret meeting turned into a ticking time bomb that was about to explode in their faces. She discovered a labyrinth of lies, deceit, and manipulation that was far more extensive than anyone could have ever anticipated. In short, Kirk and Yandy were caught in the act. They underestimated Rasheeda's intuition, but they believed they were being shrewd. What was supposed to be a casual night for them became a crucial point in the story. Hard to Builder was about to crumble beneath the weight of the truth after a night filled with stolen secrets and muttered words, and Rasheeda was ready to reveal the truth. But it's not a straightforward matter. It involves deception, treachery, and power. Despite Kirk and Yandy's belief that they were in charge of the Rasheeda, is prepared to reveal the entire scope of the rabbit hole now that it is becoming clear that Yandy and Kirk's relationship was based on dishonesty, manipulation, and false pretenses. The crucial question is still why she held off on disclosing it until now. Rasheeda caught their falsehoods and wouldn't have it any other way. She is now prepared to reveal every single detail of the reports that were leaked. They are transparent and contain supporting documentation, including photos. These were not just any two individuals. Rather, they had a complicated and frequently hostile relationship that had gradually stoked the flames of rivalry and jealousy. The complex network of their relationships and the individual betrayals that preceded this point hold the key to the solution. When Rasheeda felt ignored, pushed aside, or even manipulated, it was very intense, and Kirk's role in the situation just made it worse. Stoked the flames, Rasheeda had often sensed that something wasn't quite right between the two. But she had never been able to demonstrate it until now. Rasheeda was prepared to act, armed with indisputable proof. But was it personal, or was she merely attempting to highlight a toxic situation? As the jigsaw pieces begin to come together, it's time to examine the core of this story in greater detail. I can assure you that what we discover is not a straightforward matter, but rather a convoluted network of lies, manipulation, and treachery that has shaken the world, and Rasheeda's revelation is undoubtedly unavoidable. She isn't taking any prisoners, and she is out for blood. Wait until you hear the full tale if you found Rasheeda's surprising disclosure about the reality TV industry shocking. We're going to examine it like never before because it's not just about Yandy and Kirk having an affair. It's about a far larger plot. First, let's disclose a long-term strategy to sway public opinion for it was not an accident. It was a purposeful action that had been carefully thought out. Horrifying revelations regarding the depth of their dishonesty have been made public by people with knowledge of the situation. Leaked allegations claim that two of the most beloved and infamous characters in the love and hip-hop franchise, Kirk and Yandy, have been leading parallel lives behind the camera, concealing their hidden paths and manipulating the public like puppets. Have the public personalities of Kirk and Yandy. They appear to be the ideal pair, constantly sharing photos on social media and going to events as if they're all together. But in reality, behind closed doors, their relationship was founded on lies from the beginning, according to a source who was close to both of them at the time. Sources claim that Yandy and Kirk were operating behind Rasheeda's back, devising complex schemes to influence the show's plot in order to prolong their notoriety. Additionally, they were continuously giving producers misleading information, and Rasheeda wasn't going to stand by and let it all happen. In reality, their relationship was anything but. It was poisonous, rife with secrets, and centered on who could take advantage of whom in order to succeed. She had the chance to reveal the truth because she could see through their act. During her research into their secret lives, she discovered astounding things. Not only that, but everything that accompanied the romance, including leaked financial documents, suggested that Yandy and Kirk had been using the affair as leverage to manage their careers. The most shocking disclosures came from a source who said that Yandy and Kirk had been controlling their careers by using their affair as leverage, purportedly profiting from their numerous ventures and using their reality. In essence, they were using their affair as leverage to get better terms for themselves at the expense of everyone else. According to Rasheeda's sources, Kirk and Yandy were allegedly using funds from their own firm to coerce important figures in the industry, including producers and other cast members, into some of the other cast members had begun to learn about what was going on behind the scenes and were prepared to reveal their own secrets. So Rasheeda wasn't the only one who saw the warning signs. Do producing corporations really shift their profits to offshore accounts in order to evade paying taxes? Bring forward insider knowledge that fundamentally changes the storyline. According to one source, Yandy Kirk and the other members of the Abi ensemble were engaged in a savage power struggle and were using their affair as a means of maintaining social order. They faced a serious controversy that could ruin their careers if anyone questioned them. How stressful would it be to constantly be on guard and wonder if you're being watched? Then there is the tape that was leaked, which is, indeed, a recent private conversation between Kirk and Yandy. The betrayal has left those who formerly adored Yandy and Kirk reeling, and the criticism has been harsh and quick. They are heard talking about their affair in startling detail on the video, strategizing how to hide it while yet making sure they are the most talked-about couple. The subsequent action would agitate him and cause you to be publicly humiliated on national television. Outrage is erupting on social media, and even former cast members are joining in. The network may be compelled to take legal action against Yandy and Kirk, possibly removing them from the show, as the impact from this incident is still just getting started. Yandy and Kirk Exposed is reportedly trending all over the world, and fans are urging the network to take action against the couple. They even accuse their admirers of being naive fools for accepting the false persona they have constructed for themselves. It's time to examine the consequences of this huge controversy. Government investigations into the financial malfeasance have even been rumored. If confirmed, they could develop into full-fledged criminal probes. Kirk and Yandy's already failing. Careers might come to an end if the truth is out. Their web of deceit, financial manipulation, and infidelity has had far-reaching consequences that will have. However, every falsehood eventually makes its way to you, as we are all aware. Let's start by discussing the public outcry from Yandy and Kirk worshippers. Former admirers of them as the ultimate power couple are now denouncing them as frauds, deceitful liars, and cunning opportunists. Because of how bad things have gotten, their brand deals are losing endorsements and hashtags and fury are flooding their social media pages. The instant you are exposed to something this shocking, as we have repeatedly witnessed with famous people, the vulture circle, and former cast members who were previously reluctant to speak up, suddenly share their own stories. Every new revelation exacerbates the situation for Kirk and Yandy, creating a cascading effect. It's getting worse, but the so-called ideal image is falling apart faster than a house of cards. A former cast member disclosed that, in addition to the explosive nature of the money aspect of the situation, Kirk had utilized his role as a producer to control plots and intimidate people into keeping quiet while his covert affair was going on in the background. According to recently leaked documents, Kirk once threatened to destroy a cast member's career if she didn't comply with his extortion demands that she remain quiet about her involvement with him. The magnitude of the financial malfeasance is brought to light by these disclosures. The claims that Kirk and Yandy engaged in money laundering, tax evasion, and other dubious business practices might result in federal charges against them, fines, and possibly jail time. The increasing calls for a formal investigation have already been discussed, but what does it really imply for Kirk and Yandy? The network is being observed attentively by. They should immediately end their relationship with the pair, according to several admirers. Even though the industry has shielded them up to this point, the truth will eventually catch up with them. The legal team is apparently examining contracts to determine how to disassociate themselves from the controversy without substantially harming the brand, according to people familiar with the matter. However, the damage has already been done, and no amount of PR gimmicks or contract renegotiations can reverse it. Despite their belief that they can manage the criticism, Yandy and Kirk are dealing with an enormous storm. Their entire lives are on the line, and as the media circus consumes them, it's possible that this scandal will be the last straw for the Love and Hip Hop brand, which has already been losing viewers and public interest in recent years. It's not just about being written off the show anymore. The fact that Kirk and Yandy are running out of time to save what little they have left is becoming more and more obvious. Yandy's reputation is in tatters, and Kirk is a prominent target for authorities due to his dubious business methods. After all, bad press doesn't exist, so some insiders are beginning to think that the whole thing might be a well-thought-out attempt to get people talking again. Let's not get too sucked into conspiracy ideas, though, because why would Yandy and Kirk divulge so much personal information about themselves if they were genuinely attempting to destroy their careers? In reality, the situation is spiraling out of hand, and the harm already done cannot be undone. It's difficult to see how Kirk and Yandy will ever win back the respect of their fans, the business, or their other cast members given their damaged reputation. It's safe to assume that Yandy and Kirk's days as the hip-hop golden couple are finished because of the serious financial and legal repercussions. Their social media profiles are devoid of followers, their brand is poisonous, and Rasheeda is not backing down. Rather, she is doubling down, despite Yandy and Kirk's desire to overlook the entire controversy. Salmon under a microscope, she has become a hero thanks to the public's backing and the evidence she has acquired. The once ideal life of wealth and celebrity has now devolved into a nightmare of deceit, treachery, and dashed hopes. In addition to the proposals she received from casting companies, people are obsessed with this information, and Kirk and Yandy, who were formerly untouchable, are now coping with the consequences of their private lives being made public so that everyone can witness Rasheeda's courage and tenacity. She is apparently in discussions with a number of well-known media sites about potentially disclosing even more startling information regarding the affair, including text messages, images, and exclusive interviews with intimate friends and family, members of Yandy and Kirk, as a feature in future seasons. We want to know what you think, but we're excited to see what occurs next. Will Yandy and Kirk's story finish here, or is there more to it than meets the eye? Please let me know what you think. They have nowhere to turn after discovering the truth, and are now attempting to pick up the shattered pieces of their damaged careers. There is no going back once the damage has been done. Their former renown, devotion, and affection were all gone in an instant. The legal repercussions are only beginning, and the hip-hop and romantic worlds will never be the same. In the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking scandals and true stories that will always be the first to tell you about. I will never hear it. Otherwise, keep an eye on things.